In this lesson, I'll be discussing banking with my middle school students. At the end, I will talk about how to adapt this exercise for elementary and high school students. Let's look at a few topics that this lesson covers. We've already started discussing what financial institutions are and the role they play in the community. For example, they're a safe place to keep your money. The students learned that banks will use money deposited with them to make loans to people and businesses. The loans help people buy houses and cars and even run businesses. We've also discussed how the federal government protects deposits in banks and exactly what that insurance means. A few students were excited to report back how they'd seen the Insured by FDIC signs in their own banks. We also covered the National Credit Union Administration, or the NCUA, and its role to provide insurance for deposits in credit unions. Once we'd covered the basics, I arranged for a field trip to a local bank. I contacted the bank branch manager about 6 weeks before we planned to visit. We talked about the ways we could make the visit meaningful for the students. He planned to have the bank's staff provide my students with tours and summaries of their jobs. Can anyone tell me what the bank branch manager's job is?
Everyone's boss? The person who makes sure everything runs right?
Exactly. Mr. Johnson is the bank's branch manager. Mr. Johnson will be giving us a tour today.
Good morning. As the bank branch manager, I enjoy helping young people in my community learn about managing money. I understand that you've been studying banking in your classroom. Nearly every week, young people come in to open savings accounts to save money for the future. And while money is sitting in your savings account, you're earning interest. Savings accounts keep your money safe until you choose to take it out. And as young people get jobs and start earning money to pay their bills and their day-to-day expenses, they usually open checking accounts. Checking accounts give you convenient ways to pay bills, such as with checks or debit cards. Let's walk around and I'll introduce you to a few of my team members and tell you what they do. Our first stop is one of our customer service representatives, Joseph. You will talk to him about opening an account or get answers to your questions. Then we'll talk to one of the tellers.
Would you like to also tie your online banking in?
Sure, can you help?
You may wonder why you need to learn how to count money. Since we deal with a lot of it every day, it's very important that we count it properly. Next, let's talk about making deposits. Our customers can choose to handle their banking a number of ways, through the ATM, online, or here in the bank. Sometimes I help people do their banking through the drive-through window, and other people do most of their banking on their smartphones. Our bank even allows you to use the smartphone to deposit a check into your account. If you decide to make a deposit at a bank, you may need to use a deposit slip so we know whose account to deposit the money into. Let's practice filling out a deposit slip. Go ahead and you can move right up to the counter.
My students really enjoyed their trip to the bank, and they seemed to get a lot out of it. When we returned to the classroom, the students wrote thank you notes to the bank manager and mentioned something new they learned. This lesson and field trip can easily be modified for both elementary and high school students. For an elementary group, you could spend more time talking about the reasons for saving money in a bank. At this age, you may want to go over vocabulary terms such as vault, ATM, insurance, savings account, and other terms that come up. For high school students, consider spending more time talking about loans and interest rates. Discuss why loans are typically approved or denied, and consider how credit scores affect the interest rates borrowers pay. That discussion could lead into different loan types, like those for college, homes, cars, and businesses, as well as credit cards. Ask your high school students to look up the requirements for applying for a loan or opening a bank account. Your class might come up with a list of documents needed. Thank you for viewing the presentation today. For more information on teaching banking and other financial topics, please go to www.fdic.gov/teachers.